Hey Aries, how's it going? This reading is going to be about what you need to know for November. We are starting off with Four of Swords. November can be a month where there is going to be recovery, where there's going to be resting. I see Four of Swords as being connected with whatever you need to do to recharge, whether this be you need a mental recharge, you need physical recharge, or there's some type of emotional grounding that's needed, or there's something like maybe you have to catch up on sleep, or it's about sort of conserving energy or stacking it back up rather than depleting your energy. And because it's connected with the swords, it's going to be connected with a sense of well-being. So this can be a time where you focus on what you need to do to feel stable, to feel centered, to feel grounded. And so that can be a really big focus for the month of November. We have Temperance next to it too, which can mean that there can be like a break that's happening, or there can be resting that's happening, or there can be pausing that's happening. And this can be something where it's not just going to be a one and done type of thing. This can be something that's repetitively done throughout the month because we have Temperance next to it. And this can be something too where you're trying to figure out, like, what do I need to heal? You know, this can be maybe like something physically that's going on with you. This can be the time that you take to sort of figure that out, what it is that you need to do to be feeling at your best, or to stack back up whatever was being depleted and hadn't been replenished. Big focus for November. Having Temperance there can mean that this is something that can take some time. This is also stuff that will give you a sense of peace of mind. I am also seeing Eight of Cups and Nine of Cups. Nice. Eight of Cups transitioning into Nine of Cups is about moving in the direction of what you want, and it also means coming to terms with what you don't want as well. So this can also feel like a bit of an internal transition that's being made. There can also be external stuff that you're doing. It's basically like you know what's going on internally, and so you're going to want what's going on externally to be matching that. So there can be choices, there can be decisions. But more than anything, when I see Eight of Cups going into Nine of Cups, this is when Eight of Cups is transitioning, it's about really more so the focus being on what it is that you are looking to connect with, where when you connect with whatever the thing that you're connecting with is, there will be a feeling of, this feels right. This is how it's supposed to feel. Like that will kind of be when you're moving towards the Nine of Cups, like what that feeling will be. And what that also means is that sometimes, I mean, not always, but sometimes with the Eight of Cups, it can mean if something isn't feeling like that for you, it can be a time where you sort of disengage from that, or you maybe don't spend as much time doing that or going there. Whatever it is for you. But more than anything, I see it as being more of a focus on like what you do want and what you do feel connected with. And by way of that, there can be some other stuff that ends up falling away. But approaching this more so from a place of like, what do I want? What do I feel connected with? What is really resonating with me? And what is true for me? And naturally, when you move that way, there can also be some other stuff that ends up falling away because of it. But it's less so about like running away from something with the Eight of Cups, and more so about moving in the direction, or even like getting back on track. If you feel like you're sort of lost or you're sort of disconnected, this is like reconnecting again. Or connecting with what you want again. Some of you, you're going to find this in the past. I'm seeing 6 of Cups come up. I'm also seeing 3 of Cups. This looks like, okay, so during the month of November, there can be like a reunion of some sort. There can be somebody that you knew from the past that you're going to be having a connection with or having an experience with. This can also be connecting with family as well during the month of November. Having 6 of Cups can bring up like a nostalgic time for you, and also seeing 3 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, what this can mean is that it can be a time of peace, it can be a time of tranquility, there can be a time where making up is happening if that is something that you want, if that's something that feels relevant for your storyline. But there can definitely be stuff from your past popping up, but I would see this as being more pleasant than anything so far, the way that the energy is coming through. There can also be like an event or a gathering. I'm seeing somebody from your past come through here wanting to connect. They're coming through from a place of, this looks like a nostalgic place. I wonder too, like if this is your own energy, this can be somebody from your past that you're reaching out to, or people from your past. Doesn't have to be one person. And you can also be making moves for nostalgic reasons. There can be stuff that you're doing and doing it for the sentimentality. That can be something that ends up happening too during the month of November. Something being done and it's motivated by sentimentality. Whether you're the one doing this or somebody's coming through and doing this in your direction. But it does feel like a resurfacing, whatever it is. Okay. If you had been caught up in something, because I'm seeing the devil come out, what this can mean is that whatever is your special thing that sometimes can get a little bit out of control or you're not moderating it. The devil can be so many different things. Like for some of us, it can be food. For some of us, it can be, it's really like anything that you consume at the end of the day. It can be overworking. That can be the thing with the devil. It can be something that's like fear motivated or anxiety motivated. Like, I can't take a break. I got to get this done. Or like we have Capricorn here. So it can be like, got to be productive. And then you're not really taking care of yourself. So it feels like whatever that thing is for you, whatever that like neurotic thing that you have going on at times that sort of flares up or shows up, where you can look at it, and when you're being honest with yourself, you look at it and you're like, I'm overdoing it. Or you can be underdoing something too. I see with the devil. It's going to be like one or the other, and depending on the situation, it can be multiple things that you have going on. This is more than anything about finding balance, because we have Temperance be connected with it. Like when we have the devil come out, it speaks about a need for something to be moderated, because you look at it and you say, that is not the healthiest for me. Or something is out of control, or something could potentially be if I don't check it. So this is the time to be checking it. And 4 of Swords feels like recovering from whatever that is that you've had going on. And this can be anything. Like, it doesn't have to be, depending on where you are with your journey. Like for some people, this can be like a whole turnaround that's going to happen. For others of you, it can be like maybe something that's gotten a little bit out of control, or you stop paying attention to it and you're like, I really need to check back in with that and I need to modify it. So having Temperance there, this can be something that takes some time. For some of you, even this can be like, maybe there was an old habit that you picked back up on that you're like, I want to like wean myself off of that, or like I don't want to be doing that anymore, or I want to get back into something that I fell off of. So it's going to be something that will promote well-being. It will promote peace of mind. I think it's like wellness in general, the way that this is coming through. So whatever this thing is, or these things are for you, this is stuff that's going to be helpful. And yeah, it can also be habit related too. It can be something like you notice that if you like listen to a meditation before you go to sleep, that you sleep better at night, but instead you've been like watching something that feels disturbing and then you're not sleeping well. Like it can just be anything that you feel is going down a path that you feel like this isn't the best thing for me. And when you check in, you'll know what that is if you aren't initially feeling that. But it can also be something that comes to light during the month of November, where you're like, I thought that this was okay, or I thought that I could moderate it, or I didn't think that there was anything, I thought that it was okay for me to be doing this. And then you can check in and be like, I actually don't think that this is the best thing for me. So it can just be a time where there's a lot of addressing that. It's stuff that ultimately would not feel empowering to you, but it can be stuff that's difficult to stop doing. That's always the thing with the devil. Like, that's why it's so difficult to stop doing those things, because it's that I know that this isn't the best thing for me. And I know that this doesn't come from a place of me loving myself ultimately. It comes from somewhere else. Simultaneously, I know that, and also it's really hard not to do it, or it's really hard to do it. So that's how you'll know what the thing is for you. That's how it will look like. Having temperance there means that this will be a process. This may not just be like, I'm going to tackle this one time and then I don't have to deal with it anymore. For some of you, this is going to be more of an elongated process, but it can be something that you take more initiative on during the month of November. You'll know that it's out of alignment. It can still feel difficult to address it. It can feel difficult to sort of change the pattern. Okay, now I'm seeing things starting to connect. This feels like whatever this is that's been influencing you, for some of you even it can be a relationship. Lots of different things this can be. This feels like something that you can keep like returning to, or that you haven't completely gotten under control, or you feel like this thing sort of has power over you. Having the Eight of Cups is going to be this realization that it is not on a deeper level fulfilling that thing that you're looking for it to fulfill. Like, it's not satisfying fully. It can be a lot, but it's not going to be totally and completely. I see the devil as being connected with this sentiment. You can never get enough of something that almost works. And that's why it can be so difficult to sort of break out of that, because it does do something. It just like doesn't fully sort of complete the circle. And so you just go faster around and around and around within that. And now can be the time where you're looking at it. And this feels like an evaluation that's happening. And you can be saying, this isn't the real version of what I'm looking for, or this isn't like the solid sort of thing that's going to complete the circle here. And you moving towards the Nine of Cups shows that there's a recognition that this can satisfy certain things within you, but when it comes to that deeper, like, where is this coming from and what is the catalyst for this, it doesn't really do that. And that's how you're going to know this isn't in your best interest. And so moving towards the Nine of Cups is going to be the realization that this is not going to fully be the answer for me. And I know that there's potential for me to really find and satisfy what I'm looking for on a deeper level. And that's where this transition is coming from. But there's going to have to be when the devil comes up, like, it's going to sort of come after you and say, it's like if you cut, just an example, let's say that you cut out a habit. You can stop doing the habit, and then you're going to have to also deal with like all of the ways that it's attached to you. So you'll get like cravings for that thing, or like you'll almost, if you're not being mindful, sort of almost go back into doing that until you're like, whoa, I was just in a trance right now. Like, I almost went back into doing that. It will be that type of thing where this is going to take like you controlling your own mind here. Because I'm seeing stuff pop up about like whatever this thing is that sort of calls to you and is like, come back into this pattern. I'm seeing it like trying to reach out to you, and you still continuing to move, because you know that even if you go back into it, it's not going to be that real answer for you, because the Nine of Cups is what's up ahead. So this thing is going to be like back here saying like, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. But you know that like as much as you go back, you can go back again and again and again into whatever that is. And it's not really going to be that answer for you. Like it's not going to satisfy this. This is the only thing that will. And so this is going to be connecting with that deeper thing that really will be that answer for you, whatever it may be. And will depend for each of you, depending on what this is about for you specifically. Like what this is that you're really looking to connect with. So yeah, it looks like a pause, a break that you're taking from whatever this is. It's going to be a recovering of your energy. And I also get the feeling that there's going to be some like emotional, psychological work that you're doing too, seeing the Swords and the Cups here. Kind of like mind over matter type of stuff. But then also can be getting to the bottom of it, because you're gonna, I'm getting this again, like whatever this is that you're like, I'm not gonna be doing it anymore. Like let's say that you wanna like quit smoking cigarettes. It's kind of like the cravings keep coming back. And it's like, don't you want one? Don't you want one? And then you're gonna like be somewhere and somebody will have one and you're like, oh, now it's in my face. It's gonna be like that type of stuff where it's not only you saying I'm not gonna do this anymore, and then you like cut the cord and you think you're never gonna think about it again. Like it's gonna come back in different ways. And so it's going to be about, like, this is, the way that I'm seeing this is kind of whatever that thing is for you, like mobilizing itself and like trying to appeal to you to get you to come back into it. And eventually, through processing this, like that is how the breaking away happens. But initially, you're also going to have to, like, keeping it real with you, initially, you're going to have to deal with this thing like trying to sort of pull you back in. Like that's just how the process works when the devil is involved. So it takes a lot of willpower. Ultimately, your choice at the end of the day. I mean, for some of you, this can literally be somebody messaging you that you don't want anything to do with. Just somebody reaching out to you. I want to say this too, like whatever this thing is for you, it feels like you're taking a break from it. Maybe so it's like not in your environment, and so the temptation can't even like come up in the first place. That can also be a way that you start working with this too. In November, it's just to be able to get this under control, having Temperance here. This would just to be to moderate what needs to be moderated, to feel like something is like you're able to handle it rather than it becoming out of control. And it's going to be anywhere again where you're like overdoing it, underdoing it, or you're looking at something and you're like, this isn't the best thing for me, yet you keep doing it for some reason, and about sort of getting to the bottom of what's going on there. And I think also too, being in a space of like working this out and figuring out like, why does this thing appeal to me, and what is the deeper thing that I'm looking for that I'm hoping that this satisfies, but it doesn't in a deeper way. And so like, it's never really going to be enough. And so I don't know how exactly you want to do this. And again, like it can be different for each of you, how you feel like is the best way to approach this. And maybe this is going to take different approaches, trying out different approaches to get to the bottom of this. And I'm seeing this be definitely a move that you feel you're making for the better. I think like around mid-month, there's going to be this isn't the answer. And even I think finding more out about what actually is the answer and moving in that direction by mid-month. And then it feels like something sort of clicks back into place. This even feels like it allows you to reconnect in a way, even emotionally, that you'd been disconnected. Because by the end of the month, I'm seeing something going on connected with that, where you can feel like you're making moves again in a way that's based off of or motivated by what you want it to be motivated by. There can be a part of you that like doesn't totally want to do this. That's also part of working with the devil too. Like it takes sort of this self-control and willingness and willpower, and ultimately you get to choose. Like the devil's not going to be the one that ultimately decide that energy within you. It's not going to be the thing that ultimately decides your fate here. You decide your fate, but it really depends on how much power you give this, and also how, I think, determined you are. Like how much this is a thing that maybe you don't want to be doing anymore, that you do want to be doing for yourself, and like finding the right reasons as well to actually stick with something. Like when it's going to be, if you find a reason that's really deeply connected and rooted in your core values, it can be something that you'll stand by, that isn't going to fall away, because that's something real for you. That gives it like a real anchor that you can always like come back to, that never loses its rationale, essentially. And then moving into a place of investing more in what you want and what feels right. Yeah, some of you, I do see somebody from your past coming through, and it looks like bringing something up to you, or offering you an opportunity. But this can be something that you're not feeling 100% about because of this other stuff that you're dealing with. It looks like that's what this is connected with. Like maybe somebody's trying to appeal to you, and it can be something that you feel like is familiar to you. Simultaneously, actually, let me clarify this Four of Cups, because Four of Cups can sometimes be looking at something and you know it's not resonating with you, and so you're saying like, no, I don't want to take that on. But other times Four of Cups can sort of be like, I have a lot going on right now and that's why I'm not feeling this, but it's not that it wouldn't resonate with me if I were in a different place. So I want to just see the nature of this Four of Cups. No, this actually looks like somebody coming around and wanting to connect with you. But I think because of you dealing with this can just be something that feels overwhelming. That can be why you don't feel like really excited and into this opportunity. Because I'm seeing you even, it looks like you're being invited somewhere, or that somebody wants to connect with you. This looks like somebody that you'd feel closer with, because I'm seeing Two of Cups on the bottom of the deck. This is somebody that you know, like you're very familiar with this person. And they're wanting to connect with you, or like wanting to do something with you, but I'm seeing you almost not feel Like, I'm not seeing you feel passionate about this, and it feels like it's very much related with if you're going through something that before you were getting some type of like intensity, excitement like that, and then you're like cutting it off, or you're not doing that thing. It's like you're not getting like whatever dopamine hits you were getting from that, whatever else it was that you were getting from that. It's when you're going through like a detox, essentially, how you're not really in the mood to do certain things that you normally would be, or like if this was something that maybe helped boost your mood in some type of way, it can be something where you're like, I'm like detoxing from this thing, especially energetically speaking. And so even though I'm seeing something that on a regular day come through that you'd probably want to move in the direction of, you can be feeling like not really into it just because of we'll say the energetic detoxing that you're going through. So that is another thing that pops up during the month of November. So there's a familiar face that I'm seeing pop up and want something to do with you, but then you being like, because you're dealing with your other stuff. So yeah, this feels more like just giving you information about this rather than being like, do this, do that, or whatever. This does look like a safe person that's coming through, seeing 3 of Cups and 2 of Cups. So I would imagine this being something that you would enjoy, but because of you being in the state that you're in and doing something that feels really difficult, because the devil is going to be like a big force within your life. So to sort of be breaking the chains on that, it can feel very exhausting, and you can feel like all of your energy is going into recovering from this. And so you can feel like you don't really have energy for other things. And that's what I'm seeing be the vibe. I'm looking at Capricorn and I'm looking at Sagittarius. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.